Hi, this is Poster Girl. Welcome to Band Wives, a show about the wives, lovers, and significant others and the musicians they love, hate, and tolerate. But mostly, it's about their lives, interests, and passions. This is the stage for those of us off stage, the biggest fans, the ones always there in the background. Hi, Poster Girl here. Recently, I was on Sandy Carlton's podcast, Big Sound Small Town. And after the interview, he surprised me and interviewed me for my podcast. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did.
All right, I'm here today in the Earl Scruggs Center. I'm here with Lynn Ferree. She's she's of many fames. Poster Girl, podcast creator of Band Wives and Beyond. Somehow I have coerced her to talking about being a band wife.
Yes.
And in case you do not know, her husband, okay, Chris, I'm sorry, buddy, but here we go. She is the wife of Chris Ferree and Medicine Crow. Although Chris had been semi-famous before.
He's had his moments.
He's had his moments. He's been a musician for a long time, so she's had a
life, I think.
Yes. And so she has the full inside dope of a lifelong musician.
Yes.
And so how long have you known Chris?
Chris first asked me out for a date in 1989.
Yeah, she got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
So she can tell you about, really, a lot of people have been short-term band wives.
Yeah. No, I'm long-term.
Yeah, she's a long-term one. So you're going to get the skinny on what is really true about, and I'm not, as a podcaster, I will ask the questions that Lynn won't ask because she's a sweetheart. She won't ask her people that. So, does it suck living with a musician?
No, it doesn't suck living with a musician. There's, so before I met Chris, I was just, a radio girl. What did I know about music? I didn't know anything about music, hardly. Just whatever came on, whatever station I was listening to at the moment in time. But since I've met Chris,
right,
I don't know, what albums are what.
Right.
He introduced me to the mixtape.
Yes.
In 1989.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
And then the mix CD.
Yep.
And now, thank God for Spotify.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever I fucking want to listen to.
Which probably directs you right back to the same stuff that he set you up with.
Yes, he did. So when he was a kid, he was very much an artist. And if anybody knows anything about his family, his nephew is Josh. They also call Peanut. He was an amazing artist. And Chris was a pretty good artist whenever he was young. But then he always said when he turned 15, he discovered music. And he used to draw the album covers. And then he quit doing that because he was just listening to the music. And that's when he saved up enough money to get a bass and learn how to play the bass.
Oh, God, I did not know he had a bassist in the bass. I'm sorry, Chris.
Yes.
I'm sorry, buddy.
He does. We
have that in common. I never wanted to be a bass player. It just worked out that way.
Yeah. Well, I think he liked it because it gave him the opportunity to create whatever he wanted to create. But usually the bassist is not always the person that's the most.
You think? Like none.
The guitar player and the lead singer.
No. You go down the list of the ones that people want to be associated with. The bass is only ahead of the drummer, and that can be debatable.
Sometimes.
If the drummer wears a shirt, the bass player is above him. If the drummer doesn't wear a shirt, then the bass player drops to the bottom.
Twirling the sticks.
Exactly. So if he's twirling the sticks, I'm sorry, bass player, you just dropped another notch.
But sometimes I don't think people realize that the bass player, or that person is. There's so much more to being a musician and being in a band and creating music that you don't get. And actually, I always call Chris really, he's a songwriter and a producer.
Sure.
He's become a performer because of where we live, and it gives him an opportunity to put his music out there in ways that he never would have been able to a long time ago. But he's really a songwriter and a producer
and a singer. I mean, truthfully, Chris is a singer.
Yeah, he's.
I mean,
voice is very.
Yeah.
Eric says, what does he say? He says the vocal acrobatics of Chris Ferree, and what he means and what he's saying is that Chris does put some kind of weird spin.
Yeah, he does
on how he phrases things.
Sure, he does.
And people who don't know, it just seems like people are singing a song or playing a song, or they've just sort of come up with that.
I think
it's a cover.
Well, I do. In Chris's defense, I think people forget or slide past the fact that he is really a fine singer because they see him as a front man in a band and as amazingly semi-Jethro Tull.
Yes.
I mean, he's kind of noted for his his flute playing. Yeah.
The double flutes, War Pony.
Which he will tell you is as much a blessing
it is.
and a curse as you can have, Yeah. I mean, it's either we've had that talk about, is it a good thing? Well, of course it is.
It is.
But sometimes he has his doubts of whether it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. I tell him all the time, is like, your heritage, like even down to the little point of playing the flute.
Right.
And he plays Native American music.
Yes, he does. He does. But not all. I want people to know this too before we go any farther. Medicine Crow does not play just Native American music. No. I mean, they're a complete band. They're a very, very good band. Mm-hmm. That is an element that is in it's in his whole life. So of course it's in his music.
It is.
But do not think if you're hearing this, do not put that in your head that that's what you're hiring. No. You're hiring a complete band that is very good.
Yes, you are. And a complete band that has influences from all over. I remember him telling me, so one of the first, because his dad always bought records.
Right.
One of the things that he got from his father is his basis, his foundation.
Right, his foundation of his music.
What is it? Oh, What a Night. Who is it? Frankie Valli.
Yeah, Frankie Valli. Yeah.
Frankie Valli. That was one of the first ones. And then the other thing he always told me that I always thought was so funny, his dad bought Alice Cooper.
Huh.
I Never Cry. But on the flip side was Alice Cooper's song Go to Hell. That's the one Chris listened to.
Of course it is.
Dad listened to
Of course.
I'll Never Cry song. So that's sort of where all of that sparked for him. But yes, they are a complete band. It's not just native flute, but it is definitely an intricate part of who he is and
sure it is.
How he approaches life.
He and I have had talks about, is that a good thing for me or a bad thing? I mean, does that limit some of my jobs?
Probably.
Well, it probably does, and that's the thing I will tell Chris, are you, this is terrible, Chris, but you're getting older. I mean, it's not like you're looking to bust a top of the charts. So if that's not the case anymore, why do you even care?
I think with musicians, with anybody who creates it, it's just a matter if you make $1 billion or if you're just sitting in your basement or your side room creating something. I think it's something that you guys have to get out. Well,
if you get into music for anything but the music, you'll be really disappointed.
Yes.
And you will quit. Yeah. It's got to be about the music. I mean, if it's not, even people that make it famous, it's about the music. That's the perk of getting famous is the money.
Yes.
But it's still, even at the highest level, a traveling second/third shift job. where you're gone from your family and you sleep in motels. I mean, it's not, for everyone that has not ever done this, take it from me, it is not the greatest thing in the world.
It's not. Actually, another band wife not too long ago, I saw had posted on Facebook things that you don't know about marrying a musician.
Sure.
One of the things was schlepping in the equipment at the beginning of the show, the equipment out after the show, and eat your dinner at 2:00 in the morning.
Well, okay.
I don't do that.
My thoughts
I have
about
decided that.
Oh yeah, you cut it.
Not my part of
Also, okay, we'll go with that. You've been a band wife a long time, so you've heard all the stuff.
Yeah.
Your job is to go have fun and get the hell out of there.
No shit.
That's
and
it.
Hopefully get everybody else having fun.
True. But yeah, you do work up the crowd. That's part of your job. Most people don't have that, but that is one of the pluses of having Lynn Ferree as your wife. She will pump up your show. Yeah. I know that actually band wives can be really, wait, this is not going to sound great great parts of the band itself.
Yes.
I take a guy like Michael Reno Harrell.
Okay.
Joan, his wife, is his booking agent. She does everything for him.
Yeah.
And she told me, and this is a wonderful thing. I know a lot of women will not like this when I say this. This is probably not politically correct. But she says, I believe in my artist. I believe in Michael Reno Harrell.
Yes.
And I do everything in life so that he has time to create his art.
I think that's amazing. That's exactly what, and she's choosing to do that.
She is choosing to do that. And she learned, he started out with a band. She kind of learned to cut that out, to save money. She learned what his booking agent did and she took it over. Mm-hmm. She's dedicated to him. She believes in him. There's another guy too. Walter Finley. Walter and April Dawn just won the Carolina Country Music Duo of the Year award.
Oh, wow.
That's hard to say. At the House of Blues in Myrtle Beach this past week. April does everything she can do to promote Walter.
That's exactly what a band wife is. She is the person, or he is the person behind.
We got to say there are he's too. There are
he's behind the
poor guy.
Person that's standing out there on the stage. Or the person that's standing out there on the stage. And, I don't think there's anything wrong with what and people shouldn't give her hell for anything. She's doing what she wants to do and she's promoting her man the way that she wants to promote him. And I think that is what we do. But
there's plenty of room in there for support without doing that.
Yes, there is.
There are times where, without a doubt, you have to have agents. Without a doubt, you may believe in what he's done, but you've heard it a bazillion times, and you're going to go and enjoy it, or not even go at all if you don't feel like, because it's no longer, there's no longer new. You've heard, and a lot of times you've heard it from the bottom up. You heard the songs being created, which is kind of really a cool part of it.
It's very cool part.
To see, it is. I agree with that part. We'll agree with that. When you live with someone that is creative and you get to see the creative process, I'm sorry, people that's never lived with that. You really miss a beautiful thing in life. By the same token, you also miss the 3:00 in the morning when that idea comes to them and they're up and they're like, I got to get this down and I won't remember it if I don't. And it's 3:00 in the morning. I got to go to work tomorrow, Chris. I'm going to work and you're up here trying to write a song.
I can generally sleep through most anything, so it's not.
No, that's good for you.
Times, yeah.
The
things that he does is like read this or look at this or whatever, and I'm like, oh, it's great. It's all great. It's all fabulous.
Wait. He bounces stuff off of you.
Yes, he does. Chris bounces stuff off of everybody.
Oh, yeah, this is true. You have to do that.
You do, and he's one of these people that, in creating anything that he does, he will try everything.
Right.
and say, what about this? What about this? Can I add this? Should I take away this? What about, and sometimes I love it because it's part of what I love about him. Actually, Summer Keever and I talked about this, that the stuff that you're going, oh my God, why are you asking me this again? But if you took that away, then all of a sudden it's not the man that you love. But he asks me, what about this? Or if I added this, or if I added that, or if I did this or whatever. That stuff goes like.
Well, let me ask you this. Is it hard to say, no, Chris, that sucks?
I do tell him when I don't like.
Okay, well, I do like that. I mean, I do like that.
Yeah.
In a music wife,
Yeah.
I do think that being truthful, and sometimes I think you get jaded over the years. Yeah, that's great, or yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, it is easy to say, oh yeah, Sandy, you're great.
Yeah.
It's an easy answer, but I also value, no, God, that sucks, man. What are you thinking? Don't do it in that key. That's the wrong key,
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know it enough sometimes I don't know what it is that I don't like.
Right.
I can just say,
something's wrong with it. Yeah. So this is not quite right.
I don't really like it.
So
you can do it. I don't care. Whatever.
So you can you can give Chris negative feedback.
Yeah. Yes, I can.
Because
he would tell you that I can give him negative.
But I mean that's a great thing because okay, we're going to this about musicians. You live with one. They got fragile ass egos.
Chris is not an egotistical person.
That's great.
You're
lucky.
I'm way more egotistical than Chris is.
Particularly for singers. You know about singers.
Yeah.
I mean, singers. We'll skip this part.
No, we're not skipping anything. Go ahead.
I just had a singer who got his feelings hurt a little bit towards me because I made a slightly negative comment.
Okay.
And he's unfriended me, and the bad thing is I am not always right.
No, but it's your opinion sometimes.
No, I'm right in this case.
Well, you might.
Okay. So, but I mean, it's hard. But then I also realized that he is a singer.
Yes.
And I have played in bands since I was in the 8th grade.
Yeah.
My whole entire life. Mm-hmm. So I've been around a lot of singers.
I've been around a lot.
And I've been a singer a lot. Mm-hmm. So, generally, I have a pretty good finger on the pulse of singers.
Okay.
Well, probably all of musicians, but particularly singers.
Yeah.
And
even from your podcast.
Sure.
Your
podcast. Oh yeah.
Giving you
a
whole lot more insight.
And singers are fragile guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
can see that.
And songwriters are double fragile because I will tell everyone on this podcast that as a songwriter, I could stand naked in front of everybody in Shelby easier than I can do a new song for someone I care about. Not people that I don't know. Strangers, big deal. Mm-hmm. But for someone I care about, it is hard for me to do a new song. And when you do a song and you put it out there, you have emptied your whole soul, your whole work.
It is.
If it does not go as you expect, it's a hard lesson.
It is a hard lesson. It is. Chris is pretty good about that kind of stuff. But he also knows me pretty well too. And he knows what I like or what I don't like, or and can kind of, I guess, sort of put in perspective what I say, because I do try to say, you know what, I can understand why other people would like it. It's not my cup of tea.
Exactly. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Now, if he did something specifically for me, and I know the times that he, I know the times that this is something that's super personal. He might kill me for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Oh, here you go, Chris.
Once in a while, he says, damn, I wish I didn't care about my craft, or I wish I didn't care about, I wish I didn't have any I wish I didn't care about I can't even think of what the word is, but because he could write just about anything.
Sure,
probably.
yeah, I understand that.
But he really considers it way more a piece of himself, and I can tell whenever something is more of a piece
Right.
of him, and that, of course, that gives a different. And then if he writes it about me, what's not to like?
Oh, okay, so yeah, I mean,
He writes a whole
okay,
thing
that
about me.
is one of the good parts about that. You know, writing a song for someone. If there's a better thing that you can give a woman than writing a song to her, I've yet to see it.
There's not.
There's not.
Not a fucking thing.
There's not. I mean, I'm sorry. Flowers suck compared to a song.
The best panty dropper.
Yeah,
is a song written about you.
I agree. It is. I mean, and you realize also that is one of the reasons early on songwriters become songwriters.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, because okay, I should not say this. You realize you can use one song written about one person over and over and over again.
It's true.
And dedicate it towards that person.
It is true.
And it works the same.
Every time.
Every time.
Chris did write the first song that he wrote specifically for me. He had somebody write it out in calligraphy and all that kind of stuff, and I have it framed.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that's really cool.
And he probably doesn't even know this, but I do look at that. Not necessarily I look at it every day because it's there, but there are some days that I stop and look and yeah, okay, I got the will to live, to go on through the day. Because this person is over here and this is what he thinks of me.
Chris Ferree, if you don't hang on to this woman, you're a damn fool. but also it is good that you realize that.
Yeah.
I mean, you realize that many people live with people who write things for them, who create art, and they're really not appreciative of what they do. I mean, I would tell you that, okay, as a musician, this is the take.
Okay.
And I will use a local person that I know, and I will not name him.
Okay.
Name the person. But everyone wants to be with a musician until they're with a musician for a while.
Okay. Right.
You know, they come in late.
Yes.
Not anymore, but used to. You come in smelling like smoke,
unless you're playing in South Carolina.
Sure. And then you don't come in at all till the next day. but you know, it's yeah, this has been great, but honey, you got to choose between me and music. Mm. So that happens a lot.
It probably does.
So I know a guy here who chose to give up music.
Okay.
So some time goes by. And so he tells his wife he's taking a class at the community college.
Okay.
But he's going and jamming with the band. And then he has a special project he has to do on a Friday night, Saturday night, something like that. Mm-hmm. Well, then she catches him.
Oh.
And she says, you know, you're cheating on me with the band. Okay. And you're going to have to make a choice. Mm-hmm. It's the band or me. Mm. You know the answer, right? I sure am going to miss you. I mean, that is the case more often than someone with you who goes the course.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's not the easiest thing in the world. Musicians are quirky too. Before I forget it, Chris.
They are different people.
They are different. They have their quirks that other people don't have. No. You're not getting Chris to the country club.
No.
You know,
I'm sure in the hell not getting him in anything other than like a T-shirt.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. I mean, then that's where we're going with this. You know, it takes a special person to be a band wife, because it would probably be easier for you to go find ex-band wives.
I have approached that.
I mean, and that's not too bad, because that's not a bad approach, because then you get, you don't want to be married to a musician. Do you realize? No, there's nothing good about it. Plus, he's a singer. Understand where we're going with this one right now?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Women are attracted to a singer.
Yeah, I know. There is nothing. I know.
I mean,
Musicians are sexy.
Yeah, they are. So you have to live with that too, which can be, even though, Chris, I'm standing up for you, brother. He's a good guy. Chris is a good guy.
Very good man.
That's not going to happen. However, it's always there. It is always.
Yeah.
Chris would tell you a lie if he said that women did not hit on him. He's a singer. Now, admittedly, Chris, you're going to smack me for this one. You're aging a bit, but you're still a singer.
Yes, he is.
Which I learned at the age of 60-something. A guitar, I'm 70, 71, okay? A musical instrument is not the aphrodisiac that it used to be. You reach a certain point, everybody thinks he's a cool grandpa. Yeah, you do. It happens. Yes, it does. But I expect in your case, Chris, that's still not happening yet.
Not yet.
But Lynn is good. Again, you need to hold on to this woman. But you are aware of that. That is one of the bad parts of living with a front man. You know what's there, right? Or am I telling you something new?
Probably could. Yeah, it is. But so here's the thing. We can go back a little bit of history here that you
don't ask this stuff on your show.
I haven't asked it yet.
But I'm an asshole.
That's it. Ask anything you want. But he also knows that he can ask me of anything.
True.
He can ask anything of me.
Sure.
He can ask, and I'm always up for experimentation.
Sure. Oh, I know where we're going with this. I love it. You better keep this.
I'm not afraid of any of
Sure.
that. So I don't care if it happens.
It is a compliment. It is a compliment. You realize that?
Yes, I do.
It's not like, it's the thing about marrying I speak from experience. It is the thing about having a attractive person in your life, male or female.
Yes. You
realize that comes with having an attractive person.
Yeah.
If you do not, you will not last long. In a relationship. Right. If you're married to someone that is attractive and people desire, mm-hmm. if you do not realize that they are and have learned to accept it,
right,
you will no longer be there.
Right.
It's a part. There's not a really kind way of saying this, but if no one is interested in your spouse, male or female,
you're not going to be interested either?
Well, and why is that? And it's always better from my perspective to have someone that everyone is interested in than someone no one is interested in.
That's true.
It's a trade-off, though. You got to learn to balance it.
It's a trade-off, and it is a balance, and that kind of stuff doesn't bother me at all.
Good.
And
Is it a turn on? Is it a turn on that other people might be attracted to Chris?
Yes.
Okay. You ain't asking that.
I haven't asked that question yet, but
you may.
Into that.
True.
As I always say to people that I talk to, there's no rules. You can fucking talk about.
Yeah, exactly. You can. That's the beautiful thing about a podcast. We'll go with this.
Okay.
You are probably the only female podcaster anywhere around here.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Sherry Lynch doesn't count. She's a radio personality.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Well, she became a podcaster.
Yeah, sure.
Radio.
But you're actually, you're setting standards, plowing new grounds by being a podcaster, a female podcaster,
Fabulous.
It is because there's, of course, as I always say, any idiot can be a podcaster, But
Thank God.
But it takes guts, and it takes ideas, and you have to, you have to work at it more than people believe.
You really do.
So,
and, people just don't. I don't think people. It's too scary.
It's scary. It is scary. I mean,
it's just a little bit nerve wracking. I mean, I can't.
It is.
That,
it is.
But
it's like anything else. It is.
The same thing as going to a party and having a conversation with.
And that's how you have to.
Party. Yeah.
If you have, that's what it has to be. It has to be. If you want listeners, all right, podcast listeners. If you want listeners, you got to be real about it.
You do.
You got to make it fun for people to listen to.
Yes.
You have to have guests like Lynn who will come in here and bare her soul pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm willing to tell it all.
And she is pretty good about, I will give her credit. She has come in and really laid it out about how it is to be a band wife. Mm-hmm. But now in her case, she likes being a band wife.
I do.
You know?
I wouldn't choose anything else. I cannot imagine.
Oh yeah,
living with.
Sure, you're taking it there.
I can't imagine living my life with a fucking banker.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, bankers, you guys, if you're listening.
Y'all are great. I got no problems with it, but it's not for me. And anyway, there you go.
Yeah. You're digging go ahead, keep digging out of that hole, Lynn. Dig out of that hole. I'll dig it out for you. Okay, bankers. Yeah, you guys got some money. You guys have got some. You got some. Then there is a lot of women who like that. Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of men and women like that.
Yes.
But
it's not my wife.
No,
it's not me.
And it takes a special person to live with a musician. Mm-hmm. This is my theory.
Okay.
I've told people this several times on the podcast, and I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of deity you believe in. Doesn't matter to me. This is not really my take on things so much as this is it. Mm. 2 people get free passes into heaven if there is a heaven.
Right.
A band spouse and a sound man.
A sound man.
I mean, those are 2 people that get free passes because God knows how hard it is to live with to live with a musician or to be a sound man. Rest of you can go to hell on your own, but they get free passes.
No questions asked.
No questions asked. You get there and you see Peter, if that's what you believe, and he goes, "Oh, you're a band spouse."
That's the thing at Disney where you get to go in front of the line.
Oh yeah. Get to cut the line. Yeah, you do. I mean, because for every good thing that Lynn has said about musicians, there's a lot of bad part about it too. But in her case, she loves even the bad part of it. So
yeah, I do.
She's an exception to the rule.
Thank you.
And how long have you guys been married?
So we got married in 1991. So what is that? What
I am on is you're on the way to heaven.
I'm only 39.
Yeah. Well, stay with that. She got married when she's like 14. We live in the South, I mean, she's probably Chris's cousin if you want to know the truth of it.
No, my parents didn't grow up here. Okay. No, that didn't happen.
Okay, all right. So she's an unusual band wife. No, I'm joking. So, Lynn, I really appreciate you bearing your soul.
Well, thank you.
You did a really good job. You got a good podcast.
Thank you.
And
I enjoy it.
So this is your podcast from your own show. Thank you for this.
Have a great day, y'all.
All right.
Thanks for listening to Band Wives. Look for our next episode. Until then, this is Poster Girl wishing you a beautiful, badass life.